Hello,
What's it?
guys. Welcome to the Gentleman's League. With me, of course, is the host of our show, the wonderful, the one, the only Shampoo of Stealth Variety.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Alex. I really appreciate it. He's doing all the production work because I am not smart enough to make picks and band graphics, which is one of our main selling points for TGL Season 2. We have a completely new pick and ban system, very different than what you're familiar with from ESL. So I think you guys are really going to enjoy this from a casting perspective and from an audience viewing perspective. You guys are going to see a lot more variation in gameplay, in who's playing monster, and not only what monster's being played, but even the player themselves, and hunter picks, hunter compositions. A lot of things are going to be different in TGL Season 2, and we did it all with fairness in mind and making sure that it is not only presentable to you guys who are donating to the Patreon. Thank you guys for supporting. Our prize pool is currently at $1,750, I believe.
It's really
It's a
high.
lot.
It's
It's a
growing
lot
all the
of
time.
Yeah, and for those of you who have been donating, we have reached our first milestone of $100, which is allowing us to cast Team YP versus TPA right here for a TGL exhibition match. That was a milestone goal. You guys crushed it within pretty much 4 seconds. And with that, we bring you TPA versus Team YP. They're just getting set up right now.
So I think we are actually just starting the ban phase at this moment. So let's see what's going on. So currently, we actually just had the monster ban come in, which means that because it's going to be YP monster going first, so that means TPA gets banned on monster, and the first
Yeah.
ban was actually Kraken.
Not surprising whatsoever, considering Source usually plays Kraken, sometimes Wraith and ESL. They're familiar with that. They're banning Kraken right off the bat.
Yep. So I'm just going through this right now, just trying to get everything caught up for you guys. Next one is going to be...
Griffin. Griffin is banned as the first hunter. So the way this works, for those of you who are unfamiliar, is first off, a monster is banned. Any monster except Gorgon. Gorgon is not currently allowed. And then the hunters get to pick a class, whether it be Trapper, Support, Medic, or Assault. One of those classes are chosen, and then the monster player, or the opposite team, gets to ban a hunter from that class, and then a hunter gets picked from that class. So, for example, Source TV just banned Griffin. TPA chose Trapper. Griffin was banned.
And now Maggie
And
was picked
then
up. So we're at a
Maggie was
Maggie pick, which is going to be interesting against a non-Kraken. So Maggie's going to have good harpoons on the ground, going to have good control in domes. However, with the recent changes from 5 poons down to 3, like she'll have increased range on them, but it's going to be interesting how they place those 3 harpoons inside a dome in order to get control.
Yeah, that was one of the most controversial changes in the recent title update. But they're not doing this completely randomly. They know that Kraken is banned, so they're not going to have to deal with the Kraken, which is why Maggie was picked. This isn't just, throwing out names left and right. The teams are actually thinking about matchups and team compositions and what could possibly be coming from Team YP. Source might not even be playing the monster. That's allowed in TGL. Your entire roster can play anything on the team, whether it be monsters or hunters or switching your medic and support, whatever. So next up, Assault was the second pick, and it looks like Torvald
was banned, and Lennox was picked.
That is kind of surprising, considering that
Lennox?
Kraken was immediately banned. You don't have to go around and Plasma Lance that flying target.
Yeah, so
So-
it is going to be a ground unit, which means that Lennox is going to be viable. Also, we don't have the support picked yet, which means Lennox and Sunny is always a good composition to run. But we'll have to see what they do. So,
support
next
is
one,
next.
support's
Sunny was
next, and
banned.
Sunny ban, of course.
All right, Cabot was picked. The thing is, if they ban Laz, Source banned Laz,
Oh,
and
what?
they picked Val. So we have a Val Cabot comp. That's risky. I actually didn't consider that before I actually did these first picks here. If you pick support, and one of the supports are Cabot or Bucket, and you don't have Medic picked yet, and you don't have Laz secured already, you're going to be forced to go an offensive support and Val or Kyra or Slim.
Yeah.
And generally you see Buckets and Cabots paired with Laz because it's a glass cannon set. One of them's going to go down. You have no shields, so you just have Laz pick them up with no down penalty. This is going to be real interesting here.
We have to see what they do to try and counter it. It's like they have the Val Cabot, right? We have a Maggie, and we have a Lennox. So that's a very strong ground fight composition. Like, the Tranks are going to be highly effective. And everything else that's going in here is going to be very interesting.
So we do have, once again, the picks. Maggie, Lenny, Cabot, Val, and Goliath was picked by Team YP. Let's see who their Goliath player would be. Maybe Source?
It looks like Source. I don't know. It hasn't been announced yet. We're waiting on that to be confirmed. But it's most like I don't know. It's most likely going to be Source. Yes.
Source been practicing Goliath. I don't remember the
ready?
last time I've seen him on Goliath, if I've ever seen him on Goliath. That's usually some reserved for legendary
ready?
on the PC.
Good luck, have fun.
Luck, have fun.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, is how the picks and bans work.
It's pretty simple. You go through your bans, you do one of each class, and then, of course, Monster gets banned first and picks last. So, interesting pick. We are going in to see a Source on Monster, and we're going on Orbital Drill for the first map, and then after that, it's Loser's Choice on the following map.
Yeah, Orbital Drill is always going to be the first map in TGL. I was in several meetings discussing the maps, discussing balancing, stuff like that. And we've all determined that Orbital Drill is the fairest of the maps to start off on. You know, rather than starting off on, say, MedLab and automatically taking a monster loss, not automatically, but MedLab's generally more hunter favored, or Fusion Plant, which is generally more monster favored. We want to start things off on an even playing field. I've usually seen it go back and forth on Orbital Drill, if any map. So we're going to pop in Orbital Drill for the first map always during TGL. And then after this, we'll have a different map. I believe we have to choose from a couple.
So what skin do you pick on Orbital Drill?
Orbital Drill. If I'm playing Kraken 100% of the time, Man of War skin. Pop-Tart Kraken. Get that light blue and purplish pink color going, you know?
Yeah, it would be very interesting to see what they do. We do see actually a Voodoo Goliath being chosen, so he's going to try and use the black to blend in. The hunter skins don't really matter as much because you're not using them for camouflage, but we do see a couple nice skins coming out. We got the Elite Cabot skin, I believe that is, right? That's the Elite Cabot skin on there?
I think so. I can kind of see the gold and blue from the railgun. Now, the thing is, I feel like camos matter just a little bit less when Daisy's on the field because Daisy's going to point directly towards that monster.
Always. And what is it you're known for saying? When Daisy dies, you all die?
Oh, yeah. No, I just insert anything into there nowadays. It used to be Kyra dies, you all die, but no one plays Kyra anymore, so I've just inserted every other hunter name in there, including Daisy, Val, Laz. Never said Lenny dies, you all die. We have Lenny here on the field.
Lenny doesn't die, though, as we saw with the 4 Lennox match, which was hilarious. It was just non-stop damage.
I love those what-if matches. 4 Laz's death by paper cuts. Oh.
It'd be non-stop. It'd be the slowest death ever. Especially in arena where you can't leave.
You can't guard a res. It's terrible. Anyway, we're hopping into the first match here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for dropping by. This is the TGL exhibition match between Team YP and TPA. They are the first and second places, respectively, from Poland. And we're going to see a throwdown right here. Source TV on Goliath versus TPA's Hunters, featuring Amy Bot, by the way, who is subbing in from Eyes on You. She's playing on TPA, and I believe she'll be playing on TPA tomorrow during ESL as well. Starting things off here, we got Source with his Goliath Voodoo skin on the field, and they're on the move.
Yeah, and he's already going up on the standard route. He's heading up on the northeast right through the raceway, and he's going to be going directly east to get those Mammoth Bird spawns. He's going to be looking for the initial Reavers right in front of him at this moment, which are just coming in now. Mammoth Birds do spawn on the high ground and low ground. It's either one or the other, so he's checking high and low, and he's just going to go around this pillar, and it did choose high, so he's going to get some nice meats. However, he did miss the Leap Smash, but that's not really that critical at this stage in the game. He was able to get the Flame Breath and lost no time.
You just use Leap Smash for a little bit of extra traversal, get around the map a bit faster. Going for a Mega Mouth right off the bat. That's a solid 4-meat. It's going to take a minute to kill, and he's going to fight back, but that Mega Mouth is down, and that's a good 4-meat. Reason monsters are usually going southeast on this map. There's a lot of Mammoth Birds, I guess Mega Mouths, if you want to go and eat those. That's a little bit less common, but there's a lot of different food Source can feed up on if he wants to try to keep himself in the game, armored up. Now, he does need to feed a little bit faster here. The Hunters are closing in on him, and he doesn't even have half of his energy. Full armor, though, so he's prepared for an engagement if it gets to that.
Yeah, he looks like he's just pushing himself around, trying to get into a good spot where he can fight and mitigate effectively. However, we look at Amy Bot's positioning. She's still at 90 meters away, which means that he has plenty of time to engage here on Roy. Already getting him at half. He still has shield. And here comes the heals out from Val, so they're going to be bringing that up. Doesn't actually have to pop the personal shield yet, which is a key factor. There comes the heal burst, so he knows he has some time to play with this and chew on his food a little bit. Leaf Smash comes in, does not connect for Roy, which is the Thunder Strike. So the Thunder Child doesn't get the punch off. More of these Lennox strikes going to be pushing him right in the back, dealing damage, chipping away that armor. He's only at 2.5 bars now, which means he does not want to fight at this point. He's looking at these 6 meats right here just saying, hey, I'm going to have some armor.
He was pretty low right there. I'm surprised AmyBot didn't drop the dome. Maybe she wanted to drop it in a more advantageous position without elevation. Either way, Source is going to get away and just get a couple more meats here. He is low armor, so it wouldn't be too bad of an idea to dome him, especially with the recent title update change. I believe it's 20%, right, Seeds? 20% armor on the Evolve for monsters?
Yeah, 20% of your full armor cash. So as Behemoth gets the most out of the benefit, Wraith gets the least, if you're looking at the actual numbers. But that's one of the most critical parts of this patch is you get initial armor after an Evolve. And he is almost at full armor, so he's almost full on the Evolve mirror, ready to fight. And they're just trying to look at an advantageous position to fight this monster in, where they don't have any loops or any way that he can mitigate and protect himself. If you look at AmyBot's positioning along with Roy's right now on his own, because he still has the personal shield, is able to tank it, able to deal damage and just chip away, while AmyBot's is trying to get herself in a great spot for an advantageous dome. And we do know that AmyBot's the queen of the God Dome, so she throws them and suddenly it's a God Dome. Doesn't matter where it is.
I've seen 2 God Domes in one game for AmyBot. She has done some ridiculous things. She doesn't even do it on purpose. I've talked to her before. She is pulling these things off.
Yeah, and
just
now we're
natural trapper intuition.
Here come the Tranks
Yep, we got some Tranks coming in.
Which means Lennox is going to be constantly on his rear. And right now, just take a quick look at the perks as we are at the initial starting phase. We do see the ability recharge is being used on Monster, which means he's going to be able to use his abilities a lot quicker. We have jetpack recharge, damage reduction, and damage reduction being used by both the Trapper